I would say a little bit over 2.5 million, a little bit over 2.5 around there. The side up a little bit, but
Yeah.
yeah, active here. I want to say last 7 days. What are we looking at? Last seven, we're looking at 12K. So 12K week. That's why the systems are important, bro. Get some people inside your systems to make this stuff work for you.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? My name is Justin, and in this video, we are going to be doing kind of like a sit down with one of our partners who a lot of you guys already know. His name is D. He goes by Mindset of D on all of his socials, and he scaled his brand Conflicted Lovers to over 6 figures with multiple drops at that. A lot of you guys already know this, but D has been a partner to us for a while, and at this point, I can confidently say that he is a friend to me and to the rest of the team as well. But on top of this, he is very knowledgeable in e-commerce. So I wanted to get him on a sit down video just like this, where we can actually sit down, we can talk, we can run through some free game, and we can actually go over in detail how he scaled his brand and other brands to over 6 figures. And so whether you have a clothing brand, a skincare brand, or you sell fitness supplements, whatever the instance may be, if you are in e-commerce, I guarantee you that this video is going to be very beneficial for you. So just make sure that you like this video and subscribe. But I'm not gonna waste your guys' time anymore. Let's get straight into the video. All right, yo, how's it going, bro? How's your day been so far?
Chilling, man. Everything going well. You doing all right?
Yeah, no, I'm doing good. What you been up to lately?
Grinding for usual, bro. I had a drop not too long ago. It's supposed to be a Valentine's Day drop, but I pushed it a little bit earlier because we had a lot of anticipation. Did pretty
Yeah,
well. I sold out 150 units. That's all I had. Sold out that first day, like within 24 hours.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean, that's good, bro. I'm glad to see you're hustling. Love
All
to
right.
see it, bro. You want to take a second and kind of like just do a little dashboard flex, kind of show the audience what you've
I
kind of
got
done
you.
in
I got a
ecom?
store open up right here.
Bet.
We got one. I know the conversion rate's terrible, but last 30 days, we're looking at 49K, close to 50. Just need to improve our conversion rate, obviously. Pull
Yeah,
the site up a little bit, but
yeah.
yeah, active here. I want to say last 7 days. What are we looking at? Last seven, we're looking at 12K. So 12K week.
12,
Today, what are we looking at? 570. And we're at
570 over there.
4 p.m. They'll keep
Yep.
going. And no lie, no work has been done on my end. I've just been kind of working on things today. So that's why the systems are important, bro. Get some people inside your systems to make this stuff work for you. So you have the freedom to be able to focus on the work that's going to scale the business. I had a pop-up shop yesterday. So, and I was setting up today, getting those things actually unset up. So that's why I was working on that. But that's the
Yeah,
freedom.
absolutely. And so for the people watching who don't know you yet, can you kind of break down like what you've built in ecom so far, how long you've been in the game, tell us more about your brand, what do you do now, stuff like that.
Yeah, got to. So for the people that don't know, my name is D. I'm 21 now. I just turned 21 not too long ago. I started my clothing brand, Conflicted Lovers, at I want to say 17 years old with a business partner. That first year, we got into it, ran up 100K, and just kind of continued to scale after that. I want to say over 500K generated within the last 3 years. And I've also helped out a lot of influencers with their brands, like P2 is the name before he passed away, Who Casper, OKQ, some other guys as well.
Got it. And I think you've generated over like I think it was well over 7 figures in ecom across your brand and then the different like brand owners that you mentor because you do have a mentorship for brand owners,
Yeah,
correct? Yeah.
correct.
So across all of the different, brands that you mentor and then clients, stuff like that, and then your brand, I know you can't give an exact number, but kind of ballpark, let the people know kind of like how much you've done in ecom so far.
Ecom generated revenue across students, brands that I worked with. I would say a little bit over 2.5 million, a little bit over 2.5 around there.
Got it. Got it. Got it. And at this stage in your journey, what does scaling actually mean to you? Like I know you're still running your brand. So now
Yeah.
that you've already done the 6 figure drops and stuff like that. So now, like compared to when you were stuck between like 5 to 10K per month, what's different? Like how do you kind of approach scaling the brand and like what input decisions you make?
I would say when I first started my brand, I was more of like a owner. So I was really heavy into logistics, the ins, the outs, all the little small details. I would say at scale, once you start scaling at this point, it's a lot of things being delegated and more of me managing key people on the team to ensure that things obviously get done the right way.
Yeah, no, for sure. That makes sense. And
Yeah.
like for you, what were some of like the biggest like inflection points that kind of helped you break past that early, plateau? Because I know you just mentioned you already did 100K your first year with the brand.
Right.
So what were some of like the input actions that you did that first year that really helped you stand out and really helped you grow fast?
Yeah. I mean, first year, I would say that making that 100K was pretty surprising to me. It wasn't a set system that I had installed or anything like that. I can say that I was ultra consistent though, just ensuring that I was making posts on TikTok specifically. When I first started, we were doing about 10 posts a day. So I can say that was the one input that we were doing consistently that led us to that 100K that very first year. After that, it's just been more about installing systems to make the money, keep making money without us obviously having to be shooting and posting content 10 times a day at this point.
Got it. Got it. Got it. And yeah, actually, since you bring it up, now that we're on the topic of content, because I know that like we get a lot of brands that, the brands that we work with, and then even the brands that apply to work with us, we often get asked a lot, in terms of like posting content, what's more important, quality or quantity? And so as a brand owner, how would you kind of answer that question?
I wholeheartedly believe that you can do both quality and quantity because every video that I shoot comes out good and
Right.
it's better than a good percentage of other brand owners out there. So I would say do quantity and quality realistically if you can, which you should be able to.
Yeah, and I mean like for the people who like they're kind of worried about budget, maybe they don't have the money for like a studio space for like a photographer, stuff like that. What are some kind of like budget-friendly alternatives for them to still produce very high quality content?
Yeah. So for my brand as of right now, we spend minimum $50 on the shoots that we do. And that $50 is usually for our models to be able to park. So most of the shoots that we do are lifestyle shoots. I shoot on my iPhone, the iPhone camera quality, super amazing. Every
Yeah,
single video doesn't have to be shot on a high quality camera. I only use high quality camera studio shoots for my website shots specifically. And as of now, I've changed to AI mockups. So I don't even have AI shoots, not AI shoots, actual photo shoots on my website right now. So my last drop, we spent, I want to say $0 on actually acquiring the content to get done. I shot it all on my iPhone with models in my area inside locations that I felt like was feasible for my identity.
wow. Okay. Yeah. And I mean, like, since you mentioned AI, a lot of people, still, even the big 26, they're kind of skeptical about like using
Yeah.
AI with their brand. But I mean, I know even like with our agency, it's to the point all of our clients were using AI for their creatives. And
Yeah.
so for you, what would you kind of tell somebody that's still on the cusp of using AI to kind of handle some of that creative workload?
Man, AI is the biggest game changer to business. I've been doing business since I was like 15, 16 years old. And when I first started my brand, AI wasn't that heavy. Today, it is pretty much involved in every single step of my workflow. If I'm writing email copy, I have to use AI to help me assist throughout that process. When I'm trying to come up with hooks for my content, I use AI. When I'm planning out my drops, I use AI. I pretty much use AI through every single step of the process. So it's like a free assistant, depending on obviously which AI you have, ChatGPT 2.0, etc. It's like having a literal free assistant that has the information and the knowledge and about the systems that you're trying to run, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, and like what AIs would you recommend? Like a lot of people they still use ChatGPT and stuff like that, and depending on what model you use, it's fine. But I know like now Claude is seen to be, kind of like better,
Yeah.
depending on what it is that you're trying to do. So what kind of like AI model would you recommend, people use depending on what it is that they're trying to do?
Yeah, for me personally, I still use ChatGPT. I believe it's 2.0 that we're on right now. I also use Claude, but that's for just another business that I'm running for more scripting things. When it comes
Got
to
it.
just structuring the systems like marketing plans, rollouts, I've already inserted all my frameworks and everything inside
Yeah.
ChatGPT, so it knows a little bit more of me and my process. So I still use that for my brand operations, but I also like Claude as well, just for scripting different things.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. And since we're on the topic of like content right now, how do you come up with high converting content for your brand? Because I know that that's like a problem so many people face, whether it's a clothing brand or just like ecom in general. Coming up with high converting content is always like a struggle. And some
Yeah.
people like try AI, they don't really get the best results. So, like, how do you come up with high converting content ideas?
Yeah, so my process is a little bit different, but I explain it pretty simply, and still some people can't execute it for some reason. But I use three pillars of content. I use top of funnel, middle of funnel, bottom of funnel. Top of funnel
Got it.
content, those are my viral videos. So if I have a brand identity, specifically mine's that's based on relationships, I would
Yeah.
go and look for content about relationships, and I would remake that content with my brand, obviously. And I would also, for the other top of funnel content, go look at other brands' viral content and remix it and take it. And that'll be my top of funnel. That's just to bring awareness and bring heads, obviously, to my brand. After
Got
that, I have my middle of funnel content. This is my product showcase content. So these could be lay flats, these could be videos of my product hanging up, or this could just be videos of my model, my B-roll footage, just walking inside the product. And this is to
it.
show people the product and build interest. And then bottom of funnel, that's more of my founders content, showing me working on the brand, showing me talking about the brand, showing my process to really get people to build the trust and the courage to actually to buy the products. And all of that I do on my iPhone, and I'm able to go to one shoot and knock out all those three pillars of content if I
Right.
plan it out thoroughly, which I always do.
Yeah. So there's really no excuses. Yeah, and I mean like
Yeah, honestly.
at this point. And no, I think it's a good strategy because that isn't just clothing adjacent. No matter what industry you're in, you can kind of apply like that same framework. So for the people that don't know, can you kind of quickly, real briefly, just explain like the difference between top, middle, and bottom of funnel in general, like kind of the
Yeah.
difference?
I mean, if we were to look at a funnel, everything can get through the top. It starts to filter a little bit at the middle, and then only a certain amount of people are going to come out the bottom. So viral content specifically is going to bring in a lot of people. Not a lot of people may be interested in buying, but they may like what they see. So they follow the brand, and then they'll watch the middle funnel content later that specifically showcases your product. Oh, I like the product. Cool product. They'll keep watching your content, scroll down some more. They see what the product is about. They know the story behind the brand. Then like, okay, I want to support this person or support this specific message. That's kind of how I look at the funnel as it goes down.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And like a lot of people, they don't really know how to, like when making content, they don't know how to differentiate top of funnel content from middle of funnel content from bottom of funnel content when it comes to actually filming it. So, if we're talking about just video content, for example, how exactly could somebody go about making different videos that each hit those different layers? And you can give like a quick off the dome example, but like how would somebody go about doing that when using just videos, for example?
Yeah, so specifically for top of funnel, I always have specific videos I'm trying to get done. So I have the link of the video that I'm basically going to be copying and remixing.
Got
Regardless if it's a video from my niche, my identity, relationship specifically for me, I just have the link and I recreate it. In that same location, though, after I shoot that top of funnel video, I'll just get clips of the person inside the product, and that'll be my middle of funnel content.
got it.
I'm knocking out the two birds with one stone at that same exact location.
Yeah, no, makes things a whole lot easier. And
Yeah.
so you've grown like on Instagram a lot between your personal brand and then also your brand and the other brands that you work with. So how would you grow organically on Instagram in 2026? If somebody were to ask you that, what would you kind of say to them? Because I know like things are changing so much constantly, especially regarding like the algorithm, what type of content is trending, what works. That's not even regarding ad creatives. So
Yeah.
how would you kind of recommend or advise somebody to grow organically on Instagram and see that consistent growth every single day?
Yeah. Number one, if you want to grow, you have to show up every single day. For the last, I want to say 3 years, I have not missed a single day of uploading content.
Yeah.
And I'm followers are always growing, likes, engagement, always growing. And then, of course, for your brand page, I would use those three pillars of content. The faster that you want to grow, obviously, the more volume that you can do. Instagram gets a little bit tricky once you start doing 4+ reels a day. So I would watch out for that. But another strategy that I'm actually taking advantage of with my clothing brand is just doing a single post a day during my rollout and then dumping the rest of the posts into trial reels. Because the
Got it.
trial reels obviously aren't going to target the audience that's already following you. It gets you new heads as well. So the top of funnel content does crazy well there as well.
Got it. That makes sense. And like, what would you say to somebody who's posting organically every single day or posting two, three reels a day, switching it up from time to time, but they're still really not seeing the consistent growth? Like views are still kind of inconsistent. What would you kind of say or advise to them or for them to
Yeah.
tweak their content?
I wholeheartedly believe that the algorithm is the algorithm and it supports what people like. So
Mm,
if you post a video that nobody's interested in, it's not going to get promoted further
right.
because it goes through a process. They release it, they show it to your followers. If your followers show no interest, why would they promote it to more people and waste their time in the algorithm? So the
Mm,
videos that are actually good are going to get traction. I oftentimes tell my students, that say the same thing, like, bro, D, I've been posting every single day, the content's not working. I just say, go compare it to my content. And if it's not better than mine's or even subpar to it, that's kind
yeah.
of the reason that it's not doing well.
Yeah, that is actually funny because when a lot of new clients come in, if they match like if they're still like in your kind of like niche of like streetwear clothing, we actually send them your content for reference a lot to
Right.
like create because like yeah, I mean you're kind of right, and I think that's why quality is so important, especially on Instagram. TikTok, I
Yeah.
think you can get away with putting out kind of whatever on TikTok because if it gets attention, it did its job. With Instagram, would you agree that quality is a lot more important?
Yeah, especially 1,000,000%. TikTok is an app for views. Instagram, I use it more to build that trust because, I mean, you have the cover page, you have feed posts, you have stories. So it's a lot more like a storefront than it is like TikTok. That's just like a TikTok account, obviously.
Got it. Yeah, no, it makes sense. And for the people who like say they're getting views, but their organic Instagram still isn't converting into sales. Specifically people who aren't running ads, but I mean, I guess this can be like blanket advice. What advice would you give to somebody whose organic isn't converting into sales? They're not seeing any revenue coming from it.
Yeah, if you're getting views and people aren't buying the product, it's because you're not giving them a reason to buy.
Mm,
A video of me walking down the street in a nice product could get a lot of views. I mean, the product looks cool, but we all have clothes. I'm sure you have 10 hoodies in your closet. People
right.
have to have a specific reason to buy. And if that video doesn't display the specific reason they should buy this product, they're not going to buy it. It may be a good video. They may like the video. They may like the product, but is it a necessity? You have to create content that makes your product feel like I need to get this versus like another product on Instagram. Because once they scroll again, it's going to be another brand that has another good product that they like. The
Yeah.
people that are going to be able to convert their viewers into buyers are going to be the people that have a specific market gap in their content that people can clearly see, like, okay, this is specifically for this reason.
Got it. Got it. Got it. And like more specifically, what mistakes do you see a lot of people make with content when they're trying to scale? Like I know you talked about kind of having to like fit that gap, having to fit like a ideal ICP. What mistakes do you kind of see people make most often and it's kind of like hindering their own success, hindering their own results?
I think the biggest mistake I see brand owners make, my students as well, is they only post middle of funnel content. So they
Mm.
only post product, 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 product,
Yeah.
product, product. And on none of the content does it entail why somebody should buy this product. It's just replicating obviously what they see other brands do that they think are winning or they may actually be winning. So that would be the biggest mistake that I see people make because people hate being sold to. In every video I see on your Instagram account, I just followed you. I like the brand. The next post I see, it's just the same product, same person, same style of video. It's not going to make me buy it today versus that's why I didn't buy it yesterday. So that's why I think those three pillars are really important because they need a reason to buy.
Not definitely, bro. I'm gonna clip this. I'm gonna send this to so many people, bro, because they need to hear that advice, genuinely. And like, why do you think, like, in general, 10K a month, it seems like a lot until you actually hit it. Once you hit it, you realize that it's so much easier to break through. It's been easy the whole time.
Yeah.
Why do you think so many people get stuck kind of at that 10K per month or a little slightly less mark?
This is actually a pretty interesting topic because the brands that I see that aren't at 10K a month, I can
Mhm.
tell that they aren't at 10K a month most of the
Right.
time. I can come
Yeah,
to your
you
page
you
like,
always
okay, you're
can.
not making 10K a month. So
Yeah.
it's 100% of them not moving like a brand that is making 10K plus a month. That's
Mm.
oftentimes why I tell my students, hey, just go compare it. Just compare your feed page to my feed page. Compare your website to my website. If you're not moving like a brand that's making 10K a month, you're never going to make 10K a month. And you have the accessibility. If you have an iPhone, you can do everything you need to do because all of my stuff is on the iPhone.
Yeah. Yeah, and like what do you see like people or like, and I say brand owners, but I think this whole topic just applies to is just ecom in general, not
Yeah.
even just clothing. Like, what do you see brand owners over focusing on at that stage that doesn't actually move the needle, that doesn't make sense for them to focus on as much as they are?
I think brand owners obsess at this current stage, that's under 10K a month, they obsess over the product.
Mm.
And when you obsess over the product with no
Yeah,
system, with no DNA, with no identity, you usually just end up creating a bad product anyways.
yeah,
So I would take away the obsession with products specifically and move it more towards systems that scale, that DNA that you use to develop your products and find your models and create your marketing videos. It would be more so of my focus. But they just don't understand DNA as well. So that's another thing that obviously holds it back.
yeah. And since you mentioned DNA, I think that people at that stage, like a big thing that kind of like goes over a lot of people's heads is that like you mentioned like brand DNA and stuff like that. What I kind of want to ask you about is like identity selling. That's something that we talk about a lot within our agency that I think isn't talked about enough because you're right, at that stage, a lot of people do over focus on the product. Not even just in clothing, but if we're talking about clothing, I think that at that stage it might not make the most sense because I mean there are a lot of cool designs out there. Why else should somebody buy the brand, right? And so
Right.
when we're talking about identity selling and selling beyond not just the physical aspects of the products and the insignificant stuff nobody cares about, but the deeper, I guess, reason and the deeper meaning why somebody should buy into the brand, whether it'll help with confidence, whether it'll, regardless of what your product fixes, how would you encourage someone to get better at identity selling instead of focusing on just the product? Because I think that that's something so many people do, and that's kind of why it hinders their own success.
Yeah. I think number one, they have to understand the why. And a lot of times, the people that aren't identity selling don't understand the identity. So that's number one, to understand why. And then number two would be to simply just do everything under that why specifically. So for me personally, I had my brand Conflict of Lovers. We didn't have an identity at first. And then we
Mhm.
kind of undergrew this small rebrand process that we're in right now. And we've tailored the brand more towards couples specifically that's undergoing obviously consistent conflict. That's why it's called conflicted lovers, right? So every
Right.
decision that I made after I decided that this is going to be the identity was all based on that the products that I developed. Okay, it's wintertime. Couples like matching. Let's get them a matching sweatsuit. So they
Yep.
want a grudgy matching sweatsuit with holes and rips in it. Probably not. Girls aren't going to be comfortable in that. So let's get them a comfortable sweatsuit that they can wear each and every single day. Okay,
Yeah.
do we want to put huge graphics on it? Probably not, because who wants to wear crazy graphic matching t-shirts? Rather make it simple. Okay, what about colors? What colors can people often match in the most? We'll do black, we'll do pink, we'll do gray. Every decision that I make at this point is based on that identity. So the people that struggle with identity selling, they need to focus on identity first and then do everything after. So when they're going to shoot content, before they pick a model, they should decide which model would fit my identity and then go grab the model.
Yeah. No, it makes perfect sense. And like kind of just to backtrack a little bit, because you mentioned systems a lot in this call. At
Yeah.
what point for you did you realize that it, the main problem or the main concern wasn't necessarily like content or ads or SMS, but systems as a whole? At what point did that kind of click for you? Was there a certain experience that kind of made you realize that, or talk to me about that?
I think the brand got to a point to where some drops did well,
Mhm.
other drops didn't do well. And we did the same inputs each and every time. So it was less about the specific inputs and more about something a little bit deeper. And that's when I realized that everything has to have a set rules or framework that you follow, proven framework that you follow. Otherwise, you're just kind of doing something. So there's a specific reason why I market for a certain amount of weeks. There's a specific reason why I use these type of models. There's a specific reason why I create these type of products. Back
Yeah,
then, it'd just be freestyling. And maybe it'll hit, maybe it won't. But the systems ensure that you win because they're proven to work.
exactly. Exactly. And one thing I want to make clear, like in this call and to everyone, well, not in the call, but one thing I want to make clear in the video and to everyone watching is that you were already successful before we partnered. So given that, and because I'm sure there are a lot of brand owners who are maybe they're doing consistent 15, 20, 30K months. So, given that you were already winning, what made partnering with us make sense in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, as you may know, I pretty much scale my clothing brand completely organically. With that being said, there's billions of people on the planet. And if every single video is not reaching 1 million views, which most of them aren't, like I'll have a viral video, but they're all in between that 8 to 10K range. I
Right.
have a good understanding that I'm missing out on so much more money just by being hesitant to being willing to dig into Meta and get some ad ran, especially when I got to the point to where I was able to sell hundreds of units. Okay, if
Right.
I can sell 100, I can sell 1,000, but I have to reach the masses to be able to do that. And organic, you can't pick and choose the numbers, ads, you do the inputs, and you get the output.
Yeah, no, exactly. I tell people all the time, like with organic, you really have no control. I mean, like in terms of aesthetics, music, all that stuff, you can control who is likely to see the video, but
Right.
you really have no control who is going to. It's based off of who engages. With ads, you have a little bit more control. But I mean, that is slightly beside the point. And kind of what I want to let the audience know, like we've been partners for a while, but more importantly, you've referred a lot of brand owners our way. A lot of people, when they talk about, they want to get into ads and stuff like that, you refer them our way. And so after all this time, kind of tell the audience, why haven't you gone to work with or, refer a different marketing team instead?
Yeah. My personal reasons, bro, is I feel like you guys are serious, 100%. A lot of ad teams, they have dozens of clients, bigger clients that they want to work with that they're spending all their time and energy and focus on. So they're looking for crazy retainers. And then you pay the crazy retainer, and your ad account is not the most important ad account that's on the dashboard of 20 other ad accounts. So really the
Right.
prioritization for me, I would say was ultra important because like I said, I'm already scaling, I'm already making money, and I wanted to put somebody on the team who I could feel like was on the team, not like I
Right.
was just throwing somebody some money and hoping that things were working out. This has became more of a partnership than really anything because we partnered damn near.
Exactly. No, exactly. And like because you as a brand owner are like you are an operator. So
Right.
from an operator perspective, since we're kind of mentioning and talking about agencies, what do you think most agencies get wrong about scaling ecom brands?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too deep into the agency side, but a lot of them, I feel like, don't have a deep understanding of clothing brands in general. They
Mhm.
jumped into the space running ads, not
Right.
actually getting a good, deep understanding of brands. They may have an understanding of e-commerce in general, but clothing is a tad bit different, just as digital products is a tad bit different than every
Yeah.
other piece out there. So I feel like not having that understanding of clothing brand, of audiences that are buying clothes and not being active and informing yourself with the current market, I feel like it's
Yeah.
something that a lot of agencies lack. Just from my conversations that I had with them and also my students, sometimes they come in to me working with other guys and I see decisions that's being made and it's like, wait, this doesn't even make sense for a
Yeah.
clothing brand. As far as some things specifically, like margins, right? There's a
Right.
brand owner, he has to spend this much money to get a product. He's spending this much daily on ads, and it's just not making sense as far as revenue for him or for the business. Different
Yeah.
stuff like that I've seen just because they aren't well versed specifically within the clothing brand industry.
Got it. Got it. So would you argue that in general, agencies, like in general, don't do a good job at trying to actually understand the market first before executing? That's why a lot of ad agencies kind of are just ad agencies. They put out ads and not, build the system. Because in order to build the system, you have to understand what it is that you're selling, who you're selling to. Would you
Right.
say that a lot of agencies fail because they don't really take the extra step and go the extra mile to understand that market and understand that niche?
Yeah, wholeheartedly. I agree that anything that you get into, you have to have an understanding of what's going on inside. You have to be well versed, well educated. Because yes, as a system, you input, you get direct outputs, but you also need to understand buyer psychology specifically with this specific topic. What's the trends currently right now? What are people liking? How's the market? How's people finances specifically? What age groups are best to target at these specific times? I think deepening knowledge specifically on the fashion industry can help any agency make more money and make their client more money.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. And like you as a brand owner, why do you think backend systems like, conversion rate optimization, email, SMS, just retention systems as a whole, as ad spend increases, as, revenue grows, all that good stuff, why do you think it's so important to actually prioritize that stuff instead of not put it off or instead of not rely on just one channel?
Yeah, I mean, because this is a business, and like any business, there are multiple different metrics that need to be tracked and analyzed and improved in order for everything to be successful. And when I think about the Nikes and I think about the Adidas, I know that there are thousands of people in these offices that are specifically working on these tiny tweaks each and every single day. So as a brand owner that is going to get to that point, it's ultra important for me to ensure that I at least can put somebody in place to manage these systems. If not,
Yeah.
learn them myself. And then when I'm able to, put them in place.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Got it. And my next question, it might take a second for you to answer, but I think, you as a six-figure brand owner, there's a lot of information and kind of like advice that you can give to people that, it's going to be kind of hard to find on YouTube or find for free anywhere at that matter.
Yeah.
So as a six-figure brand owner, what's some advice that you would give to other people trying to scale their brand that they probably haven't heard before on YouTube, on the internet, anything like that? And this could be blanket advice regarding, anything.
Right. This might sound cliche,
Hmm.
but I think people need to understand it at the furthest degree. And it's what you get in is what you're going to get out every single time. If you don't prepare before you do your photo shoot, don't expect your content to do well. If you spend 30 minutes setting up your website and
Yeah.
automations for the drop, don't expect it to do well. If you don't spend time pre-designing the product to analyze the market and what people are looking for, don't expect the product to hit. I just think input equals output 99% of the time. And the more you prepare, the better you're going to be rewarded for your preparation. There hasn't been any activity that I've completed and got a good result from that I didn't prepare thoroughly for. And
Mm.
oftentimes, the better I prepared, the better I seen that I performed every
Yeah.
single time. For example, I've had products, my most viral products known to man. My full zips, they made a little bit over 200K. My worker tees, they made a little bit over 150. Those two products were the products that I held on to for the longest. I had my
Yeah.
worker t-shirts for about a year. I had my full zips for about 8 months. Those products I had in the vault. I'm just constantly getting different samples for them, constantly improving them, just trying to make them the perfect product. And eventually, when I dropped them, they did exactly as I wanted them to do. And I've also seen this with the drops that I just was like, let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Didn't really do well. And this is not to say that you should move fast because I believe success loves speed. This is to say that you should prepare and then take action. Before you design a product, go do it, watch a video on how to design a product or how to do market research. Before you decide to go outside and shoot content, watch a video on how to create content.
Yeah.
Everything I do today, I do with information because if I'm uninformed, I'm not going to perform and I want to perform my best. And we all have the time to do so, bro. We all have the time to sit down and watch a little bit of video, a 20
Yeah.
minute video to on the specific topic in which we're trying to get better at. So I think I would say that. And then number two is the reason that you're not making 10K a month is because you don't know how to make 10K a month. Realistically, if you know how to make 10K a month, you'd be making 10K a month, right? You would just have to do the thing, but you don't know how to do the thing. So I think it's important that brand owners specifically, they constantly get informed. They constantly watch YouTube videos. They constantly study the game. Don't think you know everything because even at my big age in the big 26, even though I've
Yeah.
been scaling my clothing brand for 3 years, each and every
Yeah.
single day, it is on my non-negotiable to-do list to watch one video inside the clothing brand industry. And
Mm.
yes, that video may be a how to start a clothing brand video, but within those 26 minutes, there might have been a 10-second gem that was like, okay, boom, let me write that down. And now it's helping me scale my business.
Yeah.
Realistically, I've watched a lot of videos. And I can't say that every single video has helped me out, but I can say that in all of those videos, there's been key gems that I've took, that I've applied, that I've seen some type of success in. 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Just constant research, constantly staying in the grind, staying in the trenches, of course. And like mentally, because like I agree with what you said, input equals output. I think that that just goes for being like an entrepreneur. And mentally though, what would you say to people that kind of deal with delayed gratification, that kind of they have a problem with putting the input in and then the output doesn't come for months later? Because I think like you as a brand owner and I as an agency owner, we can both definitely vouch that input equals output, but it's not always going to be right away. So
Right.
what would you say to someone that kind of deals with that delayed gratification?
I think for me, what I had to do was realize, number one, that anybody that built anything big, they didn't
Yeah.
do it in a month. If I look at a guy in a Lamborghini, he's in my city, he's probably 50, 60 years old. We want these things now, though, but we need to understand that simple concept that, hey, it didn't happen fast for him, so why do we think it's going to happen in 30 days for us, or even a year for us, or even 5 years, right? On top of that, I think I got like two extra points on this matter to tie into what I just said, though. um, to this day, though, everything that I do actually do, I do it like it's going to be the move that potentially changed my life.
Yeah.
Because that move, that DM response, that YouTube video, that TikTok, that could be the thing that very much changes your life. Not that it's going to get you the Lambo next day, but somebody could see that video, reach out to you, the client you've been needing, the guy you've been needing to get into your brand. So I do
Right.
everything to the best of my ability on the second note. And then on the third note, I started to realize that if money is the goal, there will be a point that I'm going to get the money regardless. I'm always going to work
Yeah.
harder, and save my money and invest my money. So once I get the money, what's next? So that can't be the goal. The goal for me has become to become the best version of myself. And the thing about improvement is that it doesn't ever end. You can always
Yeah.
improve. So it's an ever-ending goal that I'm gonna continue to chase. And I keep my eyes on that, just getting better, just getting better, just getting better, just getting better, just getting better. And as I get better, the fruitage of my life gets better as well. Because if
Yeah.
you're not better, you're never going to get that result. If you're not moving like a 10K a month brand owner, you're not going to make 10K a month.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. That makes a whole lot of sense. I could definitely agree with that. And no, kind of what you said earlier, I think I could kind of relate to because you mentioned something about like money being the goal and stuff like that, and money being like
Right.
the only goal. Has there been an instance where, because I know for myself, like I set a goal where I wanted to make X amount that month, and then I hit that goal. But then after I hit that goal, I got really comfortable. And so the next month, it wasn't as consistent, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
so I had to kind of train my brain to stay in the trenches, even if the workload is lighter. So for you, has there ever been an instance where you kind of got comfortable after achieving said goal?
1,000,000%. Like I just said, our first year we made $100,000 with the clothing brand. I was 17 years old, right?
Yeah.
So when I turned 18, it was like I'm already a six-figure guy, 18 years old, you know,
Right.
19. I bought at 19, well, when I was 18, right before I turned 19, I got my Tesla and I got my first apartment.
Mm.
That, and I took hella trips. I was content with life. I
Yeah.
was good. I was like, okay, I got a car, a apartment. I'm chilling. Life's
Right.
good. So I started kind of cruising. I wasn't like every single day, 2 a.m. I'm up on my MacBook, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I pretty much did that from 19 up until 20, right? The thing about that is though, is that the work don't stop and money can stop, right? So as I'm not doing as much inputs, of course, money's slowing down. Yes, I built systems to make money, but still, your systems only are so far ahead of you,
Yeah.
right? So pretty much from 19 to 20, I want to say, I kicked my feet up. I didn't kick my feet up because I still work every single day, probably a
Yeah.
lot harder than a lot of people watching this, but I wasn't going as hard as I was when I was in the trenches specifically.
Yeah.
So I reaped all the things that come with chilling, not working as hard as you possibly can. That reflected throughout the year of me being 20 years old. Now that I'm 21, I've decided that the goal is hard work. Like the goal is to see how hard can I work? Am I willing
Yeah.
to work as hard as I worked when I was 18 years old and didn't have nothing? And if I
Yeah.
am willing to work that hard, if I do that for a year, I don't see why I won't be able to rest for the rest of the years after that.
Why not? You know, it makes sense. And so, like, what is one thing that you do a lot now that you wish you would have started doing sooner?
One thing that I do a lot now, I do a lot of mental work. I didn't used to do mental work when I first got started with my brand and my business. I would just get up, get to it. Right now, since I'm older, number one, I got a lot more responsibilities, and the work obviously is at scale. So it's a lot more fires that I have to put out. I
Yeah.
do take time every single day to just chill, think, breathe. Like we run on automation. So we're constantly running. Especially as
Yeah.
entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, there's something that you need to do right now. There's something that you're going to need to do when you get off this call. Now you have to edit the video. Now you have to get the link sent over to people. And then now you have to do all these different things. And you still have work that has to be done today. So for me personally, it's just been when I can, when I feel a little bit overwhelmed, I ensure that I just chill for a second, take 60 seconds, just close my eyes, think about life, think about chilling, think about relaxing, and just breathe. And then I just come back and I'm focused and I'm able to do the things I need to do.
Yeah, nah, that's solid, bro. That's solid. Yeah, for all the people watching, because assuming we're all entrepreneurs here, definitely don't, work yourself to burn out, if that makes sense. We all have our limits, and of course, you don't want to push your limits, but consistent burnout isn't the flex that, people kind of make it out to be. And
Right.
so when brands actually get their back end dialed, what changes do you normally notice? And when I say that, I mean like their conversion rate is where it needs to be. They have their SMS and email systems in place. They have their creative and content execution system in place. So at that point, what do you notice overall? Like, what do you usually see?
Yeah. You become less of a brand owner and then you become a founder
Mm,
because it's less about the clothing brand and
yeah,
more about the business at that point because you're focused on the numbers. You're focused on setting up different systems that can continue to make more money. Once
yeah,
your content system is dialed in, content's not a stress for me. Like I know I can go to my DMs, reach out to the people, create the document with ChatGPT, get that done. I know my content, everything, system set, pretty easy. I don't think about that. When you're a
right.
clothing brand owner and you don't have anything dialed up just yet, you're constantly worried about this, and the third. My space is free, and all I focus on is going up the next scalability thing that I can do. So it definitely gives me a lot of freedom in terms of mentally, but of course you make more money
Yeah,
because
I
you're
mean,
getting more done with less time. Your 0.5% conversion rate versus your 2% conversion rate, huge difference in terms of sales.
huge difference. Yeah, it's like 4x your monthly rev. Yeah.
Right.
And like, what happens? Like, what do you see in most instances when brands they try to scale, like they're pushing ad spend heavy, but they don't have these systems in place?
Yeah, I mean, number one, obviously, it's not going to be good for the margins. And then number two, it's just not going to work. You need the foundation
Yeah.
before you try to scale. Would never try to scale if I didn't get products that were good initially and I didn't have any organic movement. If I didn't know how to shoot content first, I wouldn't even try to scale. Focus on the foundation first, get those things set up, get those systems set up, and then get into the scaling process. Because after that, the foundation set, it's up from here. But if you try to scale on sand, water comes in, the whole thing is going to fall down.
Yeah, no, it's not gonna work. And if someone's watching this and they're thinking about like possibly working with us and our team, they're thinking about booking a call, but feels on edge about the next steps, what would you say to them to kind of advise them about potentially working with our team?
Get on the call, see if it's a good fit for you. If you're trying to scale, have a conversation with somebody that knows how to scale. And if it's not a good fit, then obviously you can make the right decision. But with somebody who's obviously informed in the space, I got Justin right here, you'll be able to come up with a solid decision as if it's not a good decision for you or not. And more than
Absolutely.
likely, if you're ready to go, it's the right decision to make.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, bro. I mean, is there anything else you kind of want to, let everybody know any like last minute advice that you kind of want to give to the audience?
Man, last minute piece of advice. A lot of us want results. I actually heard Alex Hormozy say this. I didn't want to
Mhm.
quote him, but I'll quote Mr. Alex Hormozy. Um, don't complain about the results you don't have because of the work that you weren't willing to do. A lot of
Mm,
us want 100K months, but we don't
yeah.
even have 100K operations. We don't even move like a 100K guy. We don't even wake up when our alarm clock goes off. We sleep past 10 a.m. We wake up, we go doom scroll, right? So don't
Right.
complain about the results you don't have for the work that you're not willing to do. And everything's a trade-off. You feel me? Either you stay in and work and you reap the effects of your work, or you go out and you spend money and you lost money. Either or. The best part is you get the freedom to choose.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. But that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys made it to the end of the video, all I ask is that you guys like and subscribe because I'm definitely going to be dropping content much more consistently. And if you're an ecom brand owner stuck under 10K per month and you want to hit those big 40K and 50K months, then check out the first link in the description of this video. It's going to take you to our site where you can learn more about what we do for our clients specifically. And if you like how that sounds, you can book a call with either me or one of my partners, and we'll kind of walk you through what the next steps will look like if it makes sense. However, I appreciate you guys for watching this video. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.